your computer. It's made up of all kinds of components that get dirty and need to be maintained, just like your car. Well, our BizDoc Nick Bontis / Mr. Clean has some good advice when it comes to a not-so-new computer application, the application of a little good old-fashioned elbow grease and dusting. All right, Nick, I'm notorious for not cleaning up the inside of my computer, i.e. defragging and all that, but we're going to talk today about real cleaning of your computer inside and out. Now, why is it so important?
Well, because we spend so many hours in front of the computer. The biggest culprit of performance for computers is not viruses or worms or defragging, it's dust. Dust. Dust fills the computer. There's a lot of
real
holes.
Dust, not virtual dust.
Not virtual dust, real
thing.
Dust. Especially when it comes to the back of the computer where we have holes for the fan, for the computer to breathe. And what a lot of people don't realize is that computer typically sits there on the floor, maybe for a year on end without anybody moving it. And if you go to your computer and just turn it around and look at the back, you will see a huge film of dust. Now, why is that a problem? Because it means that the motor is working extra hard to cool the computer, and in fact you're probably slowing down the performance of your PC, not because of all the software stuff that everybody talks about, but simply because there's way too much dust on the outside of the casing of the computer.
So we're also looking at what, the mouse,
right.
Keyboard, monitor, all that stuff is going to get dusty.
So let's talk about a little bit of them. Let's talk about the mouse first. Some of the mice, of course, when you turn it upside down, have a little trackball, and a lot of dust gets stuck in the trackball. Here's another thing that gets stuck there, food. Because people like to eat when they're working in front of the computer. So it's very, very simple just to pop the casing out and just actually clean the ball in your hands or run it under some water and pop it back in there. If you have a laser mouse, the same thing. There's a little bit of a film where the laser comes out, that glass, clean it. Keyboards. Really, really dirty. Really dirty.
I turn mine over and give it a little tap.
Turn yours upside down. No. Do not bang it because you'll hurt the keys. Okay. What you're going to need is a compressed can of air.
All right.
You can buy these from the store, very cheap, $10. A wonderful stock gift, you know, for the stocking gift.
Yes.
You press the little button, you take the little hose, and you point them in all the little keys and blow out all that dust. Here's another thing. After you've done that, the next step that everybody forgets, after you've blown out all the air, take your vacuum cleaner and put your vacuum cleaner on top of the keyboard and suck out the rest of it. Because even if you blow out some of the dust, it might get stuck. It'll get stuck under the keys. So there's another element for your vacuum cleaner. Next time you vacuum your area of your office, just vacuum your keyboard.
Vacuum
the final one is your monitor. Fingerprints are the big culprit for monitors. There's acid on your fingerprints, and when that acid sits on the monitor, especially on LCD plasmas, it destroys it in the long haul. Very, very simple. A little bit of a, little towel, water. You don't need cleaners. You don't need disinfectants. You don't need any acid. Just simple water with a cleaner and wipe the keyboard clean. And try to remember not to be touching your keyboard a lot with your fingerprints.
The monitor with your fingerprint.
The monitor,
okay.
That's right.
So we've looked at the mouse pad, or the mouse, keyboard, monitor, inside of the computer.
Yeah.
And so then we're going to have a nice, clean, and efficient environment.
We are. There's one other thing I'd like to add, Connie, if I may. In the back of your computer, there's a fan.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yes. So a lot of people have never opened their computers. They're afraid of what they're going to find inside. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go in there and dissect anything or do any major surgery.
That's way too scary.
Way too complicated. But for the simple person, all you have to do is undo the screws. Just typically 4 screws on the back. Very simple. Just undo them. Open it and take your can of aerosol that you use to clean your keyboard and just give a few squirts around near the fan on the inside. It's typically a black fan that spins. Clean out that dust again because you want to make sure that your fan is working very efficiently.